Okay,
Okay, we're
so
recording.
yes, good evening, everybody. Amazing hairdressers. We are here today with Tara Angles. And who is Tara? Tara is, I want to introduce you. She's a stepmom of two boys and two girls. And this amazed me when I knew this because it was an instant family that she got. And the youngest stepdaughter was 5 and now is 20. Tell me, Tara, how was this all of a sudden? Can you tell us a little bit more about this so particular part of your life?
Uh, well, it was crazy. At the time, I didn't realize that I wasn't going to be able to have children myself. So they really were, they landed in my lap. Um, they loved me right from the start. They were all really little. We had a lot of fun together. The boys played hockey, and I was raised as with two brothers that played hockey too. Like it just we blended really well off the start, and I'm I love them all. So yeah, it was
And
crazy.
tell me, how was it to be being a hairdresser because we work for so many hours and with four kids, one husband, and you and plus five. How was it that how were you able to do all of this and also being a professional in our area?
It was busy, and I really had to look inward to take care of myself to be able to take care of them at the capacity that they needed me also. So it's definitely been a journey, and it's been an effort from everybody. We're a team together, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What advice do you have to give to hairdressers that have a numerous family? What is the advice that you can give for them?
Have them help and participate instead of always wanting to do things for them, because sometimes we think it's easier to just do it ourselves because we like it to be done a certain way, but there is a lot of power in teaching them and asking them to help too. Hmm.
Very interesting because that is what we should do in our businesses, right? Because when you have colleagues and if we work as a team all together and not just only the owner of the business to do everything by itself, everything goes much better and flows better.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So you are a hairstylist for more than 20 years now.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is amazing. And you have your the past 5 years alongside with hair business. You start to studying and working as health and nutrition industry,
That's
right?
right.
What led you to there? Can you tell us? Can you share with us a little bit about your health journey?
Well, it started by snackcident. um, it really did kind of land in my lap. I didn't realize how much I needed to make changes in my life at the time, until I learned about some of the things that were happening to my body. And then I was like, okay, this is really starting to make sense of why this is happening to me. And I really felt like I wanted to have alternative solutions, instead of going and making appointments with my medical doctor. I really wanted to take a very safe, natural approach, um, in addressing some of the things that were showing up. So like the first thing that started showing up was pain, which is like, I think every hairstylist on the planet that works full time is experiencing some sort of pain. Our job is physically demanding, and that's where it started for me. I was getting neck and shoulder flare-ups. That was probably the bulk of it. Headaches were a thing for me too. So blood sugar was also another thing. So those were probably the three big things that were like, okay, I need to start paying more attention to why these things are happening to me. Otherwise, it's going to accumulate. Mm-hmm. So some of the other struggles, oh, go.
No, that's okay. So you start to feel that on a daily basis, like the pain, the dizziness. Did you felt what did you felt exactly in your body? Specifically.
So lots of physical things. My skin was suffering. I had very cystic acne that could last like really deep under the skin and big, that could last upwards of a month. I had psoriasis. I had very sensitive skin as far as other cosmetics. The psoriasis was starting to also feel a little bit embarrassing because it was on my elbows and starting to come down my arms. So it wasn't just that it was bothering me like because it was itchy, but it was also starting to bother me with the way it looked. There are some hormone things that we'll talk about a little bit later, but at the time, I would definitely identify that as extreme mood swings and anxiety was starting to show up. Because I felt tired all the time, it started to play with my mind a little bit in the sense that you have to work harder to be more successful. And because I was battling being tired, I kind of sometimes felt like I was being lazy and needed to power through, but just didn't have the energy. So it was a little bit of an internal head game with myself with energy. And my eating routine was off. I can say that most stylists who are booked back to back sometimes have to make a choice of whether they have a bathroom break or stop to eat. So that was definitely showing up for me. And some of the physical things that were happening while I was actually working, aside from being tired, were headaches off and on. But I would get like fluttery eyes, shaky hands, a bit of dizziness. And again, once I started to learn more, I discovered that those were huge imbalances with blood sugar stability. So I definitely felt it physically and emotionally, some of the struggles.
Completely, because there is somebody that says all the diseases come from stress. And the emotional part of an hairdresser, because I usually say that before we are an hairdresser, we are a person. We are a human being, and human beings are emotional. First, we have an emotional part, a mental part, the physical part, and the essence part, right? So we have all of these parts, and they all should be addressed to the complete healing. So, but tell me just, I have just one more question. When you were feeling all of these symptoms, all of these struggles, how many hours were you working on a day-to-day life? You had to choose?
I would say that approaching all those feelings was probably when I was in the peak busyness of my career. Probably anywhere between 35 and 50 hours a week. So it would fluctuate, but you know, some of those times would be doing some other services too. So I also did pedicures and manicures, but just hair, about that much.
Okay, like probably 10, 11, 12 hours a day.
Yeah.
And that is too much. It is proven that after 6 hours of work, we start to decrease our productivity. And our body starts to produce cortisol. That when our body starts to produce cortisol, it's where the disease comes in. We open the door for diseases and for feeling sick and for feeling bad. Right? Yeah. So, amazing hairdresser, if you are working 10 to 12 hours a day, stop and think, what are you doing to your health? But Tara is going to share with us how we can overcome all of these symptoms to our health, right, Tara? And you also mentioned about, so what did you did at the time to manage those struggles, those symptoms? What have you done?
I became a student and started to learn more about how our bodies function around food. So that was the first thing, because blood sugar instability was what got me into the door of understanding more. So it started with blood sugar instability, and then once I started to learn more about that, then I started getting a little bit more interested in my personal family genetic predispositions, because those were things that were starting to show up also, and how much our environment at work can impact some of those things that show up.
Okay, exactly. And can you share a little bit of in the DNA and in the structure, how can it affect our life, or one thing that we all do wrong? What is the one thing that everybody does wrong?
You mean everybody like on the planet, or everybody in the hair industry?
In the hair industry.
Okay.
I believe it's on the planet also, but let's talk about hairdressers.
I think one thing that we tend to do in our industry is ignore the signals and power through. I did it for years.
Always put, me too. Me too. But my focus was different. My focus was always on the emotional side. When you start to study about blood sugar and stability on the physical aspect of hairdressers and us as human beings, and me was also about how the mind works. How can we control our feeling, our state? How can we overcome that? Because sometimes when we have a peak of blood sugar, or when we feel that anxiety of what happens, we get sad, we get frustrated, we get exhausted, and then we have bursts of anger, hurting other people without wanting to. We get to hurt ourselves, but there is a way to heal all of that also. There is the emotional part, right? That is, we are an essence that has a mind, a body, and a heart. So, and we can work with all of these parts of us in being humans and overcome this struggle. So I'm fascinated with this because I studied the mind, but I also, and now I want to study more about this, and I'm looking forward to know more.
Right, because on an emotional level, healing is very important, but I feel that on a nutritional level, we have to nourish our bodies, and then we can work on whatever else needs work done.
It's a system. We cannot just heal emotionally and not give our body the proper nutrition, as we cannot just give the proper nutrition and not work on the emotional part. It's the four parts of the human beings that makes us who we are. So that's why they all should be addressed. So what have you done at that time when you felt all of this? What have you done to manage this? You start to study, and then what?
So in a nutshell, I follow 10 guidelines that are lifestyle based that we can definitely expand on. That could be like a whole other talk. But in a nutshell, 10 lifestyle guidelines that have helped me to really focus on adding more of the good stuff in, reducing or eliminating some of the bad stuff, and also understanding how much of an impact our work environment has on our bodies. Like, that has been a huge part of my discovery over my wellness journey, is identifying a lot of the things that can happen to us as a result of our environment.
And our habits.
And our habits
and our choices.
So that would be the guidelines.
Because Exactly, because our habits makes us who we are also. Tell me what you do or what you eat. You are what you eat. In Portuguese, I don't know if you in English you have this saying, but in
Same.
Portuguese we have you are what you eat,
Yeah, it's the same.
and the
Yeah.
same. So, so a little bit more about yourself. You also talk about chemicals.
Mhm.
What it is with chemicals that you said that high exposure of chemicals. What do these chemicals do to us in the physical aspect?
So a
I'm
lot of,
sorry, this question was not.
go ahead.
Yes.
Okay.
No, that's it.
All right. So a lot of the things that are showing up through the science of our industry on a personal level for us working as stylists is infertility, miscarriages, fibroids, really heavy periods, which is all kind of looped into estrogen dominance. Um, Blood sugar instability, like I mentioned before, skin conditions, allergies, asthma, chronic pain, chronic fatigue, brain fog, anxiety, irritability, depression, autoimmune diseases such as like fibromyalgia or lupus, thyroid issues, headaches, migraines, leaky gut, digestive issues, weight gain, insomnia, hormone imbalances, hair loss, and frequent infections. So when I saw this list, I was like, wow, like this is all the things that if we as hairstylists don't pay attention to, the science is very strong in showing that this is probably going to be a part of our future if we
Okay.
don't give our body the support that it needs to be able to overcome or combat the environment that we work in.
Okay. Because of what? Of the coloring, the
It's
straightenings, and all of that products?
it's products in general. Nail, any salons that have a nail, like the artificial nail extensions, that actually increases everything even more because of the chemicals that are in the air with what they're doing. But yeah, mixing color, hairsprays, shampoos, conditioners, everything's being absorbed into our skin, into our lungs as we're breathing, and it's really showing up in our system.
Wow.
Mhm.
I did not have that conscious.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So one of the things that also can show up that I've learned through this journey, for me especially, is that our family predisposition, so our DNA or our genetics, um, we all have something that is kind of runs in the family. So typically, when we have a stress in our life that shows up, and for us, that would be working with chemicals, it's a stress on our body. So typically, what happens is those family history things are what typically will show up first, and those are signals that we need to listen to because what happens in our industry is that they're showing up at a much younger age than people who don't have the exposure that we have, or sorry, that our
Exactly.
age
Okay.
is it's coming up younger.
Yes, but it makes sense because we start to get our body intoxicated and it starts to accumulate, right? Because if you are exposed to them over and over again, it's going to show up earlier. And there is a study that we do in our blood, right? That can tell us all of that.
It can,
I don't know
yeah.
the name of that test. Do you know the
It's a
name of
blood
that test?
analysis.
I don't. Okay, specific one that we do, and we can understand what are we most probably going to have, and we can prevent that by
Yeah.
making the right choices.
So a blood marker that you can get tested to see where your levels are as far as autoimmune diseases and cancer is called homocysteine. And they can actually draw blood and
Okay,
check that off on your requisition for the doctor to check homocysteine, and it will come back. If it comes back super low, it's not good. So they'll be able to tell you the range that you should be in, but that is one test that I've been getting done yearly, because it does show, it's a marker.
Okay. So regardless of the, depending on the results, you are going to increase or decrease some vitamins and food that you take in, right? That
There's
is
strategies.
super interesting, because strategies, and we have our health, it's our choice. Right?
Exactly.
So tell me something, Tara, what do you feel the majority of the hairstylists are struggling right now in this moment when it comes to their
Well,
health?
leading into Christmas, I would say that being like exhaustion is probably, and then on top of a pandemic, so exhaustion from the break and then the full on. I know that when I was off for 3 months, I did kick into doing more physical activity and taking better care of myself. And I just kind of imagined the old version of me. And I was thinking that if I was still on the same path that I had been, I probably would have spent most of that time on the couch watching TV, which is fine every now and then. But I could have become that couch potato. And my re-entry back to work after 3 months of being off probably would have hurt even more. Because even though I did exercise and treat my body well, I still felt that rush on my body of trying to accommodate and get everybody in, because it was all at once. So I do think that physical exhaustion and burnout, and also the stress of the financial insecurity, I think for some people is a really big deal.
Completely. But you talk now about the exercise, and that was the thing that I saw you the first time, because you are promoting a live with your personal trainer with the exercise, special exercise for hairdressers to prevent lesions, and to can you talk a little bit, because whoever enters your group will have access to that recording, right?
Yes, that's right. So everybody is welcome to join Vibrant Hairstylists. And in that group, we have a video of an interview with a personal trainer, and she has got lots of exercises to share with us in there on correct posture and stretching and exercises specifically for hairstylists. One of the most common things that we suffer from is really tight arms that can lead to carpal tunnel. And I've been working with her, and the exercises have really helped with alleviating pain. Now, one of the most important things that is attached to that is I make a commitment to do it regularly. So I see results when I stick to a routine. And my body thanks me. I feel so much better than I did before I learned.
Exactly. And how many times do you do it? Do you do it every day, 3 times a week? How many times do you do it?
So I try and do something every day. It doesn't happen every single day, but it does happen almost every single day. And it really depends on, well, my cycle of how much or which exercise I'll do. So sometimes, like today, I'm at the beginning of my cycle, and I did yoga because I know that my body, it would be too much on my body today to do something that is a hardcore cardio or really strong weight. So I'm listening to my body, and it's okay that I didn't sweat my butt off today with an exercise, because today was just a yoga day. So it is, and it really helps up here too. It's like therapy.
Exactly, and that is amazing what you're saying, and that what you're sharing, because when people think about exercising and doing stretching, they think about half an hour, 1 hour. I have to do the full program. No, we can choose whatever we feel comfortable to do. the most important thing is that we do something.
That's
Even
right.
if it is just 5 minutes today, 10 minutes, but we should do always something, almost every day. And then choose what you feel comfortable to do. Oh, no, today I want to kick ass and do the burn. So I'm going to put more effort. The other day, I'm feeling sore. I'm not feeling so much energized. I'm just going to do a calm thing. I'm going to stretch a little bit. And that's fine because we are the owners of our own life. We can make that choice. There is no one saying you have to do 1 hour exercise each time you do exercise. There's no
Right.
such thing.
That's
And
right.
most of the times people prevent themselves to do something because they think they have to do in a certain way. No, we can choose what we do. We have to do it. That is the question. We just have to do it. Something. So, Tara, what do you consider to be your top good health measures to focus on to help hairstylists to protect ourselves and decrease our chances of onset disease?
So nutrition is definitely a
Okay.
big part of it. So we are living in a world that most of us are living in toxicity and or deficiency. So our best defense, especially because we are being hit with it even more, is a high concentration of plants and being really, really particular with what you choose to supplement with, because we really do need to supplement with the level of exposure that we are working with every day. So just to give you an example of servings of fruits and vegetables in Canada, the Canadian Cancer Society is recommending that we eat between 7 and 13 servings of fruits and vegetables. And then for athletes, that would be upwards of 20. And what is considered to be an athlete is somebody who is doing high amounts of exercise for 30 minutes or more a day. So when you think about, like, that doesn't really sound like a lot of activity to be considered an athlete. But when you think that that person needs to have about 20 servings of fruits and vegetables a day to help protect themselves against the oxidative stress that they're putting their body through, that's a lot of food. So 20 servings of fruits and vegetables is 20 handfuls. And we can be really good with that some days, but to be consistent with that is really difficult. So we do need to supplement. So nutrition is the first one. Hydration is definitely number 2. Simply because it helps with elimination and keeping ourselves healthy. Quite often we mistake hunger and thirst. So making sure that we kind of go the route of hydration before hunger is definitely really helpful.
What is the best thing to hydrate our body? Is water?
Water?
Is it water?
Yep. The next best thing would be an herbal tea.
Okay.
Yeah. Anything like caffeine and alcohol would mean that you need to drink more water.
Okay.
But water is the best. And you can add fruit or veg to water.
Okay. Water with lemon. It's tasty.
Exactly. Water with cucumber.
Okay.
It's delicious.
Also. and natural juices. It also hydrates our body or feed our body.
So natural juices we have to be careful with. Something like cranberry juice is definitely acceptable. If you're drinking pure cranberry juice, I do it periodically, and like you need 1 ounce to a full cup of water of pure cranberry juice. So definitely be careful of the concentration because we don't want to see any sugar spikes with blood sugar. But definitely flavor it up with the good stuff.
I love that. Good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So number 1, nutrition. Number 2, hydration.
The third thing is exercise, which we already touched on a little bit. Exercise is like really, the focus is to get your lymphatic system moving. Okay, so whether that's through yoga or a high stimulation, it's really depending on you getting the lymphatics moving, because what that's doing is it's avoiding stagnation. Okay, so the fourth thing is sleep. One of the things that I really like to talk about in the sleep department is two things. When we have quality sleep, that's when our body is doing its best job of healing and repairing our tissue. The second thing is routine. Quite often we can live a different schedule on the weekends versus the weekdays. And even if we just stay up 2 hours later and sleep in 2 hours later over the weekend, that can almost put us into a different time zone, as if you were to get on a plane and go and spend a few days somewhere that's a different time zone, and then you come back. So essentially, if that's your routine, there's a good chance that you're feeling jet lagged on a regular basis. So routine around sleep is really important. And then the last thing is mindfulness and mindset, which we've already talked about a little bit. And there's a lot of really great things that you can do in that department. My favorite thing to do is meditation. It is a daily practice for me, and it's very fulfilling.
Because you connect with your inner self, and you really start to listening to yourself, and you start to let go. Oh, it's very important. Yeah, I take deep breaths every day. Give oxygen to your brain, to your body, to your cells, so they can regenerate. And one amazing thing about all of this that you share with us, Tara, is nutrition, hydration, exercise, sleep, and mindfulness and mindset, like meditation. Is all of these things, we are responsible for them. We choose what we put in our mouth. Nobody feeds us. We choose what we drink, right? We choose at what time we go to bed, at what time we get up. We choose everything. We choose to exercise or not. Nobody can do these things for us. So when we complain that, oh, I'm not okay, this and that, why? You are responsible for your life. And we have to have this ownership. If something is not right with us, with our health, because when we feel healthy, everything in our life will be in place. And we'll be aligned, because we are aligned and we feel good. So everything outside of us is good. And our relationships are good because we are good. And
we have a healthier vibration.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And it feels good.
That is very good. And that is amazing, because that is the base for us to start to expand, and then to go to another level, and to work specifically on another part and another part, and to keep evolving.
Yeah.
Because what motivates me the most in this profession particularly is the chance that we have to always grow. We have always more to learn, more to evolve, more to understand. And also in our life, we should take this approach to our life. Okay, now I'm going to learn about my health. Now I'm going to learn about emotional intelligence. Now I'm going to learn about this and this and this, and always adding up and keep evolving, always, always.
Yeah.
So one final, do you want to add up something to this, Sarah?
I think maybe just touching a little bit on the science, and just to solidify the importance of, again, we have a choice, and it's up to us. One of the things that we don't have a choice over is what's in the products that we're using. So yeah, we can choose what product line we want to use, but a lot of them have very similar ingredients. And there was a study that I was reading where it actually showed comparable products from the 1970s that were banned to products that are on the market today. And the science is showing that there's not really any substantial difference between having it a better impact on our bodies. So that was a red flag for me in the sense of, okay, so we don't have a lot of control over that, but what we do have control over is us. And then also understanding that the rates of cancer in our industry, and I can share this study with anybody who's interested. There's a lot of great information in it, but it is showing that we are upwards of 62% higher risk than an average person because of our exposure. This is why this message today is so important. Like, that alone is a big deal. And the reason why that rate is so high is because we're getting it from multiple pathways: respiratory, dermatology, and systemic. So it really does make a big difference. And then another thing that was really interesting is labeling. So labeling is kind of a thing where if a company can say that as long as you're under this much exposure, then you should be okay. So when they label things, they label it with only that much, like per serving or per unit. And that's their way of saying that it's safe. Whereas in fact, our exposure is so much higher that some of these things probably aren't safe for us, but they're still being allowed to be released into the market. Now, on the flip side, science is also showing us that it doesn't matter who you are, you need to eat more fruits and vegetables, right? And not just more, but also a variety in order to protect yourself specifically from cancer and so many other things. And then like the role is of fruits and vegetables is to detoxify, which is why it's so crucial. So just, I did want to touch on that, and I felt like that was really important information. It kind of lights me up.
No, completely, because it's a shock of reality that 62% more chance to have cancer than the rest of the people. So we really have to take care of ourselves and our health. Wow, I'm amazed. I am amazed. So how do you see the impact of what you're sharing today can change or influence the way we do business in the industry wide?
So this part also lights me up a little bit too, in the sense of it takes us back to our roots. If you guys remember when we were in cosmetology school, our industry was much different. Hair barbers would do, like, they would remove teeth for people who had tooth infections. They would reset bones for people who had broken bones. They actually were known for bloodletting. It's just crazy to think, like, I guess our roots are, we always want to try and help people feel better about themselves. So branding is very important. And 5 years ago, when I decided to learn more about the health and wellness industry, I did decide to brand myself with a wellness product that has given me income stability. And I can't tell you how grateful I am that was a path that I was destined to be on because of the uncertain times that we live in today. So impact on branding is really a big deal. And I feel like we have such an influence on our clients. They come to us not because of how we do their hair, but because they come to us because of who we are. We have an influence on them. And if we can influence good health, then we're a lighthouse for so many people. We see people, our clients, more regularly than they would typically see any other healthcare practitioner, unless they're going through something. So we have a pretty close relationship on changes that we might see in them that could be slow over time, that we can really be a solution for for ourselves first, because when our cup is full, we can help so many more people. But the second thing is that we have an opportunity to almost change how toxic our career is into something that is going to have people feeling more vibrant and alive. That's a big impact.
That's a huge impact.
Mm-hmm.
That's a huge impact, and we all have the opportunity to do that if we choose to.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, 100%. It's there
and
for all of us.
To start that path, exactly. And to start that path, Tara has an offer and an invitation to do for you that you are here in this group. Doesn't matter if you are seeing live, you are going to see the recording. Tara has an invitation for you starting the 30th of November. How do you say in English? November 30th or 30th of November?
November 30th.
November 30th. Okay, November 30th. So, Tara, you can do the invitation now. I'm doing it.
Yes, I'm so excited that you're going to do this with us. I'm really excited for you to feel the difference. So the program is, like I mentioned before, we focus on 10 guidelines where we focus on the good, and then we try and reduce or eliminate some of the things that aren't serving us well. There is a product attached if you are interested in that. It's not mandatory to be a part of it, because I feel that even just the learning aspect is, for some people, that's where it needs to start, and that's totally okay. So on the 30th, we will be doing 10 days of focusing on a gentle detox, and I honestly don't think it could have come at a better time. I do them periodically. I don't normally do them this close to Christmas, but I really felt like that people need this now. With moving inward into our homes more, with a lot of the restrictions that are happening, it's a perfect time to focus on our own bodies and the things that we want to do. And a detox, I'm telling you, you're going to feel amazing going into Christmas. So if anybody's interested, they can just comment below. They can reach out to either one of us, and we can share some more details on that, because we'd love to have you participate with us.
Yes, because our mission is to impact hairdressers and to help them improve their lives and feel better about themselves, and so much more. But and on the 14th, we are going to be here live again. And after this challenge, this Shred 10, after this, we are going to go deeper about how you can even level up even more. You are going to feel the difference with this free challenge. We're going to implement small things in your life, and we're going to see the difference, and then you can choose. Even if you go deeper or not, that's all okay. We just want to help you transform your life for the better. That's it. Because the hairdressers already know what they should do, but we already know everything. Sometimes we just need somebody to remember us. Oh, I should do this and I should do that. And when we enter the challenge, we feel another motivation to do it, and sharing with other people that are going through the same struggles that we are facing also. There is an amazing energy.
And you know what? Sometimes we also just need to give ourselves permission
to make a change. And I think this is an amazing time, Tara, because there are many hairdressers on lockdown, and they have time to think and to reframe and to rebuild themselves.
Everyone's welcome.
Amazing. So Tara, do you have anything else that you want to share today? I'm so happy. I love to be here with you. Do you want to share anything else?
If anybody's interested in any more information, I'm happy. It doesn't matter what the question is, because honestly, we do talk about digestion a lot. So like, really don't be afraid of what might be happening. It's a safe space, and any question is a good question. So don't be afraid to reach out, because we're here. We're here for you guys.
Exactly. And what is the name of your group again?
Vibrant Hairstylists.
Vibrant Hairstyles. Join Tara's group, and there is a lot of value content for you also. And follow Tara. I'm following her for sure. So, and let's all grow together. This is my life. Let's all grow together, because I love to grow. And we hairdressers, all of us, there is a specific trait that we have. We all love to grow. So let's grow together, because we can learn so much from each other and give this. We are givers, right? So
yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for. I thank you really, really so much for being here. I hope you have enjoyed this conversation between me and Tara. This is all for you. I hope it has changed just a little bit or a little more. Doesn't matter. Since it changed something in your life for the better. This is our purpose. This is why we are here today. So I send you much love and light, and I see you in the next time. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Tara.
Thank you.